It helps if I unmute myself. Let me try that again. Hello, everybody. How are you today? My name is Brandi Murphy, Director of Training and Field Development for nutraMetrix. And thank you for joining me today as we're going to be talking about creating a culture of growth on your nutraMetrix team. See, one of the best things about our business is that it is a people business. And that can be one of the hardest things about our business too, because sometimes working with people can be challenging. People have their own limitations that they impose upon themselves. And sometimes those limitations are very real, and sometimes those limitations are somewhat perceived. And so one of the things that we have to focus on as team managers. Now, let's talk about that for a second, because our pay plan is called the Management Performance Compensation Plan. We are paid based on how well we manage a team. And a lot of times people don't think about it like that. They think about they have a product brokerage business, they think about they have an internet marketing business, but they might not necessarily think about they have a management business where they're managing a team of people. And if you are a little bit introverted or you're not necessarily a people person, that could be a daunting task to think about the fact that our MPCP is based on how well we manage people, right? But for those of you that do love people, it's one of the best things about our business, in my opinion, is the fact that we get to work with so many people of so many different backgrounds and so many different interests. And so one of the things I want to share with you in today's message is that it's really up to us as to how we want to manage our team. It's really up to us about what type of team dynamic we want to have. And this can get a little interesting because we are all part of a greater team, right? Like we're all one team, one dream. Every unfranchised owner is a part of the same team. But then we have individual teams as we go through the organization where maybe your team starts with your upline director. Maybe your team starts with your personal sponsor, the person that introduced you to the business. Maybe your team starts with you and you focus primarily on the people that you've introduced to the business and that they've led to. So we can be a part of multiple teams within the Market America community, which is fantastic because that goes back to that one team, one dream concept where although we are in business for ourselves, we are not in business by ourselves. And one of the things that I find often when I go to the health professional product and implementation trainings is I tend to go over during the lunch break on either Saturday or Sunday, and I talk to the health professionals and I ask them about what they know about their business and their organization, and we go through different resources that are available to them. And a lot of times our practitioners aren't aware of the strength of the team that they have available to them. They might be familiar with the one person that comes in or the partnership, two people that might come into their office and help train them, help train their staff members on the implementation, but they're not always aware of all of the other people that they're connected to. And there could be some really great connections made if they were just made aware of that. So what I want to share with you today is I'm going to go through just a couple of slides, but we're going to talk a little bit more in general about as you're growing your team, how do you make sure that your team members are connected? How do you make sure that your team is leveraging each other's strengths and weaknesses? Because for some of us, one of the things that we kind of a personality trait that might be a fault to us is we want things more for other people sometimes than they want it for themselves. And as a result, we end up in this trap of wanting to do everything for everyone. And that's not what our business is based on. Our business is based on leverage and leveraging the different components of your team, the strengths of your team, the weaknesses of your team, and using people that have certain strengths on your teams to the team's benefit to help overcome some of the other weaknesses of people that might be on your team. And let me give you an example of that. Maybe you are not a product focused person, right? Maybe you're really about the business model and developing residual income, and you really want to get people involved so that you get a large number of people doing a little bit of product sales. So you never really took the time to dive deep into the product detail. But now you have a health professional that you're working with and they're asking a ton of detailed product questions. Well, who are you going to turn to? Almost every team has someone who is very detail oriented, that is kind of the product specialist of the team. And if you can connect the product specialist on your team to the practitioner that's asking a lot of those questions, now they might really hit it off, and that might be what's needed to help that practitioner go to the next level. Whereas if you didn't make that connection to them, right? They might just be driving you crazy with all of their detailed questions because that's not what interests you. That's not what excites you. So you want to be able to match people based on interests, based on personality types. And just as a reminder, there is a separate video in this educational series on working with different personality types and being able to look for, I talk about the DISC scale, right? And how certain people are going to be very detail driven and certain people are very big picture driven. And sometimes if you take a detail oriented person and you pair them with a big picture oriented person, they don't necessarily communicate on the same wavelength. But if you can match them with somebody who knows how to communicate with what they need, that can make a huge difference. So one of the things I want to share with you, and let me just pull up my slides. I have a few slides prepared to share with you. I'm going to show you some of the things that other teams are doing and that people are doing. I grabbed some pictures off of Facebook that really can help create this team dynamic. So you'll notice that in many of these images that I'm going to share with you, you are going to see certain team names mentioned. It's not about promoting that specific team. I just liked some of the examples that I shared with you. So when you create a team, maybe you want to have a Facebook group for your team that starts with you, or maybe you want to plug your team into your greater area Facebook group. And it doesn't have to be an either or thing. You can do both. So I am a member of my own personal team's Facebook group. I am a member of my greater areas Facebook group. And I've moved 3 times since my business was started. So I'm a member of 3 different areas where my business has been built. Plus I've joined different Facebook groups where I have other team members supported. So I can see what's going on in their area, okay? So you need to just figure out which team Facebook groups are you going to join? Are you going to start your own Facebook group? Do you want to be a leader that steps up and does that and helps to motivate and manage your team? But I want to share with you a couple of posts that show some of the things that teams around the country are doing that really help to create a culture of growth in their organizations. And I think these teams are doing great jobs of that. So I took this screenshot from the Market America Southeast region page. And this post was from last year, but what the team did as an entire region, so this was probably 2,000 people that were in this group as a region, started doing a dream board contest. And so they got everybody together and everybody on their own time during a certain time period worked on creating a dream or vision board for themselves. And then they came together as a team and they had a contest in a actual in-person meeting where people brought their dream boards together. Now, if you can't get together with your people because, maybe there's restrictions on you traveling like right now, or maybe just your team is scattered all around the country, you can do a team vision board meeting via Zoom where each person, or any online program, but we have a platform through Zoom through our Market America business. So it's a great one to use and promote. But why not have everybody share their dream or vision board and talk about what their goals are? Because when you know what your team is working on, you can then tailor your approach to remind them of why they started their business in the first place and what they're working on. And we're all going to go through hard times. We're all going to get no's that feel like personal rejections, especially in the beginning. And sometimes we have to remind our team members that those little bumps in the road along the way are for a reason. Every time we get a no, it brings us closer to a yes. But each time that we get closer to a yes, we get closer to our goal. And having a dream or vision board contest where we know what people are working on really helps to solidify that team dynamic. So I think this is a great idea. If you haven't done this or you haven't participated in a vision board contest, I'll go back and find there was a blog post that JR had written on his blog about how to hold a dream board contest, and I'll link that in the comments under this video. You could also do book clubs. If you're following the Getting Started Guide for Market America, you know that one of the daily activities that we're supposed to be doing every day is reading for 15 minutes. Now, each person can pick their own book, of course, of their interest to read for 15 minutes a day, but why not create a book of the month club within your team? And so in this particular example, I'm using Team Abundance, which is one of the upper New York, the Western New York teams, but they've expanded all around the country. Lynn Brand has done a great job of creating book clubs for her teams. Every month they feature a different book. Here's an example of this April book club. they were talking about creating habits, and she actually highlighted a picture from the book, and the dialogue underneath the post was everybody talking about what they're getting out of the book. This was going back from their February of the month book club, and Shannon shared, some topics or highlights about the book too. So the whole team is growing together on these topics about personal growth. So I think that's just fantastic. It's a great idea to keep your team going together. They could be books about business. They could be books about personal growth. They could be books about goal setting. They could be books about better communication. I talk about the fact that we are a people business, and understanding different personalities is great. Maybe one of the months, the book club is on like sales dogs. One of the books I talk about in the personality and mindset segment, and everybody takes the little quiz and finds out what kind of sales dog they are. And then they share it in the group, and they learn how to better communicate with each other. So this is just a great little thing. A little great thing that people can do to help support their team in growing together and keeping their team motivated and working through challenges. I love this post. This is from one of the teams in the Bismarck, North Dakota area, but that it's expanded all around the Midwest. There's North Dakotians, South Dakotians, Montanans. There's all these people from all over the place that are joining together on these coffee chat Zooms. And I love this little screen capture that I found. They had a coffee chat, and they talked about spending time with people that want to build you up, people that are working on a common goal or a common mission together. So if you take a look at this, I love my team as we keep training and helping each other through all the business that's going on and still building our residual income. Wellness is so important right now. So they get together, they talk about their focus for the week as a team. They talk about hosting wellness 101s. And I think the next slide is an example of that from the same team, where here Julie Lancetal was doing a wellness talk, and she invited all of the customers and patients from everybody on the team to join into this Wellness 101. And in that same group, she put up a post that talked about how to invite people to the group, how to follow up with people after the group. It talked about what supplements were going to be covered on the Wellness 101 talk. And so these are some great tools that you can do to help your team grow. Because, in the beginning, a lot of the new people, they don't know how to talk to people about trying products or sampling products. And so to be able to have some of the more experienced or seasoned people on the team hosting retail events that everybody can plug into, it develops this sense of community, and everybody can grow and everybody can benefit from it. Now, the key here, though, is you want to make sure that you're passing the baton and creating duplication by getting different people to talk on those different events. In the beginning, I want to share with you what not to do, what I did wrong in the very beginning of me opening my business. In the beginning, I hosted all of them because I'm very comfortable talking about products. I'm very comfortable presenting. And so I would host all of the wellness talks myself, and my team would invite their people to it. And I kind of created this reverse duplication, because then what was happening is anytime people had product questions, whether they were team members or customers of team members, they would reach out to me. And so now I have all these team members asking me all their product questions, plus all the customers asking me all the product questions. And so it created a lot of busyness, right, for me, but it didn't really help my team grow. I mean, it might have helped with initial orders, but I had to be the one managing all of those customers, which was not my intent. So guys, I want you to learn from my experience of what you really need to do is not set yourself up as the expert, but constantly edify other people on your team and help them grow too. And that requires sometimes helping them, not forcing them, helping them step out of their comfort zone. And I've shared in many of the trainings that I do at nutraMetrix Consultant Training, examples of how sometimes you have to, if we talk about a little baby bird in the nest, right? Sometimes the mama bird has to kick the birds out of the nest so that they learn to fly. And so there were some times where I had people on my team who were very knowledgeable, but maybe didn't have the confidence to be able to stand up in front of the room. And so what we did is through the ABC pattern, I would go up with them and we would teach together, right, to help them get comfortable in front of the room. And then I would gradually pass the baton or the marker to them, and I would say less and less, but I was still there for them as a support person until they were comfortable sharing their stories and their experience and their knowledge from the front of the room or from behind the camera if it's on a Zoom. So the great thing about this is whether we're talking about live or in-person events, or whether we're talking about online events, you can do a split screen, or you can have a conversation where there's multiple partners participating in giving the presentation or giving the wellness talk, but everybody gets to participate a little bit. And the new people participate a little less, and then a little more, and then a little more, and then a little more over time until they're able to host their own event. You see how that works? It's kind of, you know, through the ABC pattern, you're teaching and managing people, but you're helping them grow into being a leader themselves. It goes back to the concept of you can teach a man to fish, you can like give a man a fish, or you can teach a man to fish, right? In the beginning, I was giving my team all the fish. And what I realized is that I had to learn to teach. I had to learn to teach them to fish instead of just giving them the fish, or I wasn't doing my job as a leader. So I want to make sure that you're focused on that we have all these resources. We can support our team with all of these incredible tools, but eventually we want to make sure that we have people that are moving up the ranks to be in leadership roles themselves, right? So how do we do that? This is a slide right out of the NC training. It's covered at every single NC training. And I think it's one of the, like, we could spend all day talking about this. It's one of the most unique slides because it really talks about how you create a culture of informed and motivated people where you're recognizing success, you're putting challenges out to people. And so I just want to share this with you. Too often, we have unfranchised owners or nutraMetrix consultants that kind of are in their own bubble, and they don't necessarily look out for, not on purpose, but they're just wrapped up in their own world. It's kind of human nature. And they may not realize that their team members aren't aware of all the tools and resources that are available to them. We have so much information coming to us from the company from so many different directions, especially if you participate in multiple majors. You might have Motives emails coming, and Motives Facebook groups you're in, and nutraMetrix Facebook groups you're in, and TLS Facebook groups you're in, and team Facebook groups you're in. And especially because of the way that Facebook or any social media platform moves, the content is changing all of the time. So it's really easy for people to miss announcements. It's really easy for people to miss emails that come out. But we sometimes think, well, if I got the email and I saw it and I read it, or I saw a post on social media, that my team must have seen it as well. And that is not always the case, right? So let's talk about what happens when a new tool or a new product gets released. Let's say, for example, it's going to come out through nutraMetrix from some way, shape, or form, whether you received it via an email or unfranchised newslines. Maybe you received it from a senior business partner. Maybe you received it because you saw it in the official NC support group, or maybe you came to an event and you realized that you weren't up to speed on something and you were given an update and you're like, wow, that makes sense. I didn't know that that existed. Okay. Well, the very first thing you want to do is create your own communication list. It could be text message, it could be email, it could be through a Facebook group for your team, but you want to post that somewhere, either in an email, the Facebook message, a text, or all three, if you really want to make sure your team is up to date. And so let me give you an example of that. We're going to be releasing in the near future some updates to our affiliate publisher network, our APN program, and how it can be used for nutraMetrix and nutraMetrix health professionals to be able to promote their favorite products on their own practice website and have patients be able to check out without having to leave the practice website. So we're going to talk about that. That's going to be coming very soon. It's something we're really excited about. We have a lot of practitioners that already drive a lot of patients to their website for blogs, for information, to book appointments, to check their lab results. You know, patients are already going to one website. And maybe those practitioners would get better engagement from their nutraMetrix patients for nutraMetrix orders if the patients didn't have to go somewhere else or link off to another site. So imagine your practitioner being able to write a blog article or some sort of wellness article about a specific topic, and then have right below that article the products that they want to feature that relate to that topic, right? That's what the APN program is going to do. So let's say fast forward next month, you see an email come out from the nutraMetrix team, and you see a post in the official NC support group or the official HP support group if you're a health professional that talks about these new advancements. Well, what you want to do is make sure that your entire NC team is notified of that. So you're going to tag them in the post, you're going to send them an email, maybe you send them a text message and say, hey, look what nutraMetrix just released, right? And then if there's a specific tool that you need to download or order, in this case, it would be something you would probably download from Downloads. notes, you're going to download it and you're going to review it. And then maybe you do a team conference call or a Zoom and you review that tool with your team and you let everybody ask questions and you kind of talk through it together and you brainstorm together how this can benefit your nutraMetrix organization or your overall Market America organization, right? So you're going to do a team conference call, or maybe you're going to do a coring, a webinar, a Facebook Live. You're going to get together in the Facebook group, and then you're going to make sure, does everybody that's on your nutraMetrix team know that this exists, and how does it benefit them, and how does it benefit their non-nutraMetrix partners, right? Because sometimes you might have somebody that's not an NC who isn't aware of a nutraMetrix tool that's coming out, but that new tool might trigger them to think about this person that they know over here that they didn't think about before. And now the new tool makes a whole lot of sense and they want to introduce it to them. So you also want to make sure that your non-nutraMetrix partners are aware of the tool so that they, it might trigger them thinking about somebody. So then let's say you're going to put together a challenge, and that challenge might be, in this case, using the APN as an example. Okay, so now what we're going to do on our team is we're going to encourage each one of our nutraMetrix consultants to introduce the APN program to at least one health professional over the next 2 weeks. And we're going to encourage the NC to get the health professional to understand how to use the APN program by helping them write a blog article and post some products on their own practice website. Okay, so 2 weeks go by, you measure the team results and say, how did everybody do? Did each of the NCs actually get one health professional do it? Were there any superstars? Were there any NCs that got 5 HPs to do that? And if that's the case, then you want to recognize that success. You want to celebrate it. You want to talk about it in the Facebook group. And I'm going to show you an example of that. You want to acknowledge them in front of the team, right? If anybody had any challenges, then you can, as a team, talk through those challenges and brainstorm what could we do differently next time so that those same challenges aren't experienced by the other part of the team. It's not just about celebrating the wins, but it's also about helping the team overcome obstacles so that people don't have to recreate the wheel. If I learn that something doesn't work, I want to make sure that I share with my team that it didn't work for me and why, so they don't make the same mistake, right? I want to be able to help figure out what does work and share that with them. And so that's part of the follow-up and future review planning. And then if that's going to be something that moving forward, we're going to introduce to all of our health professionals, how are we going to incorporate that into future growth? So you can see your entire team is having this dialogue about this new tool or this new product. And that's just within your nutraMetrix consultants. But now your nutraMetrix consultants are going to make sure that the health professionals and the staff members that they're working with are made aware of these new tools as well. So at some point, whether it's right away, right? Somebody's got to reach out to the health professionals and explain to the health professionals and their staff how this new product or tool, in this case, the APN, is going to help support the vision and mission of the practice. And now we might need to adjust the goals and the marketing strategy of that practice. Where is this going to be displayed? Well, in this example, it's going to be displayed on the practitioner's website. What staff members are going to be involved in that? Typically, it's not the health professional that's writing. Now, if it's a one man or one woman show, they're probably updating their own website. But if it's a larger practice that has a lot of staff members, usually there's a staff member that is assigned to doing the social media for the practice. That would be the person that you would want to train on how to use the APN, right? And then how will patients be informed? Well, if it's already something that they're doing via social media, then you can do it like that. Maybe the practice has an email newsletter that they send out to the patients, and they might want to write a little email to put in their newsletter that says you can now purchase your nutraMetrix products directly on our practice website. And here's an example, and collect, copy the link right into that email. And then you're going to initiate the patient engagement. You're going to see and measure, are patients responding to this new tool? Is this helping to increase growth or increase sales? Right, so we're going to measure the patient results, and then we're going to go back over here, and on the next team call, if this practice is comfortable sharing that information, then we're going to celebrate the win over here by talking about how that practitioner incorporated this new tool, the APN, into the team plan, and everybody can celebrate the success together, right? So I think that's a really important little slide. And I encourage people when we're at the NC training, I say, when you get these slides to download, and this is in every NC training slide deck. If you go into the most recent slide deck from last year, September 2019 was our last live event. It would be in day 2's slides. You can print this out and you can have it on your desk somewhere, or you can print it out and have it in the notebook that you refer to, and teach your team to do this. You can teach your team to make sure that we're not just relying on the company communications to inform our team, that we're actively involved in helping our team develop, right? And when I was talking about the recognition, remember, and this goes back to the personality and working with the different personality types presentation that I cover at NC Training, and there's also a video on that. People are motivated by different things. Some people are motivated by money, but a lot of people are motivated by recognition, achievement, or making a difference. And being able to highlight how people are making money, how people are making a difference, how people are making achievement covers the whole thing. So I'm going to show a couple of examples of that for you too. Here's an example of different things that people are doing in Facebook groups to recognize their team efforts. And so of course, if there's a pin level jump, Jim Winkler shared Shelly Bowe's pin level jump. Shelly hit director last week, which is fantastic. I know she works really hard with her team. And so it's great to be able to see these types of recognition posts being shared all over social media. And as other people see that, they say, you know what, this does work. It does. I'm seeing people that I know growing. I'm seeing people that I know make a difference. I'm seeing people that I know, you know, accomplish things that they set out to accomplish. And this can help motivate people. Here, Suzanne Patrick posted a welcome post in there. We welcome Dr. Adam Diedler, Clear Path Family Chiropractic in North Georgia, right? Welcoming people to the group helps show other people in the group that what they're doing is working. So it's not even just about Suzanne, like, being congratulatory to herself. It's about helping to motivate the team and introduce the new team members like Dr. Teeter, I hope I'm saying that right, you know, that there's a team behind what we do. And although we're in business for ourselves, we're not in business by ourselves. Or how about this type of post over here where Jocelyn said Jessica Hunter did an amazing job sharing our business to 35 participants. She handled a few hiccups because there's always going to be challenges. And if we only show that people are doing well with no mistakes, right, then that isn't real life, right? So here, Jessica handled a few hiccups with technology, with grace and professionalism. Way to go. So I love seeing these types of posts in all of the different Facebook groups that celebrate the wins, that talk about, yes, there are sometimes still challenges and we continue to move forward. So I hope this was helpful for you because, again, one of my favorite things about our business is the people we meet along the way. And although we are, yes, a product brokerage company, although we are, yes, an internet marketing company, we really are in a leadership type role. This is a lifestyle platform, as Lauren Ridinger shares from stage. And it's all about helping take people with us on this journey of creating a lifestyle of supporting others and helping others and celebrating others' wins. And one of the things that I hear the most about what people love about Market America, aside from the products, because they all love them, aside from the compensation plan that everybody loves and has made such a difference in so many people's lives, aside from all of that, right? Where else do you see people celebrate each other's successes as much as we do in this business? Where else do you see so many people rallying together to help people achieve a common goal? Whatever that goal is, right? Whatever your own personal goal is that goes on your vision board, we're all here to help you achieve that. We're all working together, one team, one dream. And it's up to us to help create that culture of success. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you have some takeaways. If you don't already have a Facebook group that you've invited your team to, whether it's one that you run or it's one for your area that has multiple smaller teams on it, I'm going to encourage you to make sure that your team members are invited to participate in those Facebook groups. I'm going to encourage you to go back and download that slide, which has the promotion cycle on it, that little infinity type sign that talks about how we can create a culture of growth. I'm going to encourage you to consider doing a dream board or vision board party with your team. And I'm going to encourage you to potentially focus on, at least once a quarter, focus on a book club together where you can pick a book that the whole team is going to focus on reading together and everybody can grow through that. If you have, I am going to post this video, and one of the other things I'm going to encourage you to do is share what's worked for your team. What are some of the things that you have found really successful that your team loves about the culture on your team? Maybe it's the coffee chats via Zoom. Maybe you guys pick a day where you do dinner together over the internet every night, once a week or something like that. I'd love to hear from you, what's working with you. So go back in the Facebook group or on the YouTube channel underneath this video and comment what are the things that you love about creating a culture of growth on your team, and share those ideas with others. Thanks again for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you on another broadcast and at our next live event, whenever that may be. Hope you guys are all doing great. Stay well, and we'll talk to you soon.